I've had 3 boyfriends in my life. All of them have had 3 older sisters.
Coincidence?
I think not.
So I'm the youngest of 2 sisters and I'm dating the oldest of 2 brothers, and this is the best relationship that I've had.
I'm the oldest daughter and I dated the youngest son, and a big no ended up having to be his mum.
So I think that they get a bad rap, and I think that only children propaganda.
You're here to defend the only
I'm not
child.
falling for that propaganda because I think I love only children.
Hi, Dee Salmon. I am a firstborn daughter. I've got a brother, middle, youngest sister. And my partner and my perfect match is lastborn son, 3 older sisters.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm actually with my most compatible. So yeah.
You're literally winning.
Yeah.
Wittily winning. My name is Pip Rasmussen. I am the lastborn daughter, older brother.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. I love being a youngest.
Who's your most compatible?
Oh, eldest son, and preferably if they have younger sisters.
Yes.
So that is my vibe. And I love dating as a youngest person.
Yeah, because you just get to be silly.
I get to be so silly goofy, and I get somebody to take care of me, and I'm charming and I'm fun.
You do actually give lastborn.
I am very much a lastborn.
so lastborn.
You could spot me a mile away.
Yeah. Like when everyone's quiet in the office and you just hear someone at the back.
Yeah. That's me.
That's a lastborn.
That is the last one. Well, why we're talking about this, by the way, is because here on The Hookup, we talk about love, sex, dating, and relationships. And you might have clicked on this episode and gone, what the hell is birth order theory, dating? What has birth order got to do with relationships?
Oh, it's got everything to do with the relationships.
It's got something to do with it for sure.
According to TikTok.
Yeah, we've been seeing this a lot on TikTok. People have been talking about it. It's going viral. And so we thought we would investigate with you to see what is birth order dating theories? Is it real?
Yeah, is there actually any research and science behind this? And also we'll hear from you and find out like what you have found in the birth order pecking order has been the most compatible for you. So let's get into it. Just a quick reminder though.
Yeah, we have a video.
Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify right now, we are actually on video at the same time. So swipe, is it a swipe up? It's some sort of swipe.
It's a button press.
And a swipey swipe, and you can see us.
Yeah, you can switch it from audio to video whenever you like, and you can come and join us in our little ABC janitor closet. We'd love to have you. Let's get into it. All right, so let's just get straight into this. What is birth order theory? So as we said, we've been seeing a lot of TikToks about it, a lot of chat about compatibility and where you land within your siblings and how that affects your dating life. So let's take it all the way back to where the actual term was kind of like coined. It was something that Austrian psychologist Alfred Adler was really interested in way back in the early 1900s. And he basically believed that your position within your family affected so much of your life, not only your relationships, but like the outcomes of your job, like interpersonal relationships, your tendencies, like your personality traits. And like we were saying before, we were like, oh, you're so lastborn daughter. Like
You are though.
I kind of am, and I kind of see it for me, but you know, we're going to get into how it can be a little bit star-signy, but whatever. That's who coined it.
Okay, and one of the core beliefs of birth order dating theory is that opposites often attract, right? So when it comes to compatibility, the theory has been that individuals are typically drawn to partners who possess complementary birth order traits, as these differences can create a sense of balance and harmony within the relationship.
Yeah, like you said, the opposites attract. And so in a lot of people who theorize about this, they say that your same birth order pairings are prone to power struggles or communication issues. So let's say if you were dating an eldest person of their family,
yes,
and if I was dating a youngest person of their family, that's where things can get a bit hairy, apparently, according to this.
Yes,
but
you'd both be too silly, and with me and the eldest son would both be too
struggling for leadership, all those things.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, right, so all these people who have kind of studied this throughout time have nailed all these different characteristics and personality traits into like where you sit within your family. Before we get into that though, let's find out where you sit in your family. I feel like it's a game show.
I know. I'm like, We need some dance music.
Okay, so we did a poll on our Instagram at Triple J the Hookup. We said, where do you sit within your siblings? 30% of you are the youngest, 19% of you sit in the middle, 42% of you are the oldest, and 8% of you are only children.
I'm like, that's interesting that 42% of you are the eldest in the family.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder what that says about the type of people the hookup attracts.
Yeah.
Go-getters, leaders.
What is the hookup if we were a sibling, like as a whole?
We're all of them. We're a twin.
I kind of feel like we might be middle. I know that's controversial, but let me tell you about
I think
the traits.
we give only child. All right, so firstborns, like we've been alluding to, firstborns are leaders. They rule. So they are responsible, organized, they are sometimes perfectionists, and they like to take charge.
This is so you.
So me.
You are a leader.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
Perfectionist.
That's why it complements each other.
Yeah, exactly. Middle children are known to mediate. So they are more independent, they're adaptable, they seek balance, and they seem to be, this is according to the study, more skilled at mediating conflicts.
See, that's why I think the hookup is middle child, because we seek balance, ABC. We're adaptable.
If any boss is listening.
We mediate like conflict. We're always like, let's take a bit of A, a little bit of B. We try and work
You are
things
so
out.
right.
We are the middle child.
We are middle.
And you know what? I know middle children get a lot of hate, a lot of shade, but
Not as much shade as only children.
that's true.
Okay.
Well, keep going.
Lastborn, because this is just pick in a nutshell, like we've been saying. Lastborn's charm. They tend to be more outgoing, charming, and enjoy being the center of attention. No. Never.
Shocker. And then only children are described by this study, by the way, which is from Dr. Kevin Leman. We'll put it in the show notes. He reckons they are independent, responsible, and seek a partner who provide a stimulating environment. I don't know. That's kind of wishy-washy of that.
That wasn't the vibe we got from you in our DMs about only children.
People really hated on only children.
Selfish.
Don't know how to, compromise, like bad at communication. Anyway, we'll get into that. But yeah, according to this research, like we were saying, it's the opposites attract. And to get super specific with it, the best combination apparently is firstborn girl, so D, with brothers, with a last-born son with sisters.
Which is literally my relationship.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
It is crazy.
Everyone I have dated previously is last-born son or just last-born son by like a year. So they've got a younger sister.
Yeah.
But then all of them have had 3 older sisters.
That is wild.
I've had 3 boyfriends in my life. All of them have had 3 older sisters.
Coincidence?
I think not.
I don't know.
I think the fuck not.
The jury's out. You know, and
That's science.
That is science, baby. And we can flip it the other way around because there was some other studies as well. So this psychiatrist called Roberta M. Gilbert also looked into it and said the opposite works. So, for example, firstborn son is really compatible with lastborn daughter.
And have you found that in yours?
Yes. In my dating life, I was having a little think and an overview. Most of the people that I have dated have been firstborn sons, and some of them have had younger brothers, and some of them have had younger sisters. But I tend to date the eldest boy in the family, and I'm the youngest girl in my family, so it's compatible. Coincidence?
But then you broke up. Wait, but then I broke up.
Let's say I think not together.
Compatible at the time.
Say I think not together. I think not. No, look, it's definitely weird. It's kind of spooky.
This is pretty much what you're going to find in this whole episode is like correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation and
confirmation bias.
Like,
that's so me.
But okay, we have to acknowledge that there is only a small amount of research in this space investigating birth order theory. And there are just a few studies. They've got the results are mixed and generally weak. And some suggest minor trends, but they don't actually hold up across cultures or large sample sizes. And none of these studies have actually been peer reviewed. So look, it is a bit of cherry picking. Like you might find a small study and be like, yep, totally agree with this is me. Then you make a TikTok about it and then you go viral.
Yeah.
And now everyone's talking about birth order theory.
That's the thing. I mean, look, a lot of people have found truth in these personality traits and stuff like that. And I think that's so fair. But yeah, we did ask one of our friends of the show and an expert on this who we go to all the time when it comes to like love, dating and statistics and trying to find out if something is real or bullshit. Jerry Carancis, who is an associate professor from Deakin University, our go-to guy, has actually sent us a little voice memo. Do you want to have a listen?
Mm-hmm.
The only study that was done, it was actually a working paper done in Sweden, looked at 250,000 people, so population-based data, and looked basically marriage outcomes as a function of those couples' birth order. And again, they didn't come up with much of anything. The only thing that they did find is that maybe those who are in only child families may experience less positive outcomes. But this is really, really crude stuff, and they say that themselves. What the evidence does tell us about the way that we make relationships work has very little to do with birth order, nor do we need birth order to explain it. And that's because, as we've said time and time again, what people do on the ground actually matters. And if you were to include all the variables that we know matter in relationships, I would be surprised whether birth order is doing anything at all.
Look, I think we knew in our heart of hearts that this was a bit of a pop psychology moment. Pip and D journalists hate this kind of stuff, right?
Hate it.
Pip and D girlies that love star signs, we absolutely love birth order theory.
Hold on, I don't love star signs.
Okay, well,
But I kind of do love it when I'm in
girly
this
who loves
room.
star signs loves birth order theory. But yeah, a lot of you DM'd us, and it's pretty obvious that like there's no nuance considered in this, like broken families,
Blended families. Adopted people. If you're a twin.
Yep. Was no consideration. Also, just the fact that like so many of these small studies were very hetero.
Oh,
there was no acknowledgement of what it means if what's your best compatibility if you're queer.
Yeah, exactly. Like the queerness was totally left out. So with that in mind, let's have some fun with it.
I'm like, now we get to the good bit.
Now let's have some fun.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously we wanted to know what your thoughts on birth order theory were. We asked you at Triple J the Hookup on our Instagram, do you believe in birth order affecting your compatibility? 53% of you said yes.
That's more than half. I'll take that. That's more than half.
It's a lot of people. And like, you know what? Like we said, you hear these little traits and you're like, that's a bit of me, isn't it? And that's what I think people are hearing on TikTok and probably with our stories perpetuating the narrative. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just ignoring science and research for the rest of this pod.
Just for like another 20 minutes.
Yeah. Tony DM'd and said it's just a coping mechanism for people trying to reason their behavior like astrology.
James.
That hurts.
True.
Wow.
James said it sounds like overthinking bullshit. And Faz says correlation doesn't always equal causation.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
That's
But
fair.
just let us have this one.
Okay.
Should we hear a voice memo? This is what Ruby thinks.
So I'm the second oldest of 5 children and I'm the only daughter. My girlfriend is the oldest of 3 siblings. And I definitely think that how you are with your siblings and your dynamic will affect your compatibility with someone to an extent with nuance, because I think how you perceive responsibility and who needs to be the responsible one is affected by your relationships with your siblings. Because I'm an honorary older sibling because the oldest has moved out and the youngest 2 are very young and I take on a more like parental role. But then with my girlfriend, I don't mind being the like I instigate the dates and things, but I don't feel like I'm parenting someone because she's the oldest sibling. So it's almost like we can both respect each other with how we feel we have to be responsible, but then we don't feel like we're parenting each other or we're butting heads because we both feel like we have to be in that position.
So it's like they take it in turns.
Yeah, exactly. We asked you as well on our Instagram, what do you think about the most successful, this is in quotations, relationship being between a firstborn sister of brothers and a
firstborn son of sisters.
Yeah. And a lastborn brother of sisters and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we asked you that, because that's a pretty specific thing. And you came in with so many DMs. Lou said, I can really see this being successful because the brother would have such an in-depth appreciation, respect and understanding of women, if it was a healthy family dynamic, obviously. Mm-hmm. And the sister would be used to the dynamic of dealing with younger men and men in general. So I do see the vision.
This is how I feel. This is why I have always said, and within reason, like Lou said, in a healthy family dynamic, date man with sisters.
Yeah. I mean, so many of you were DMing us and being like, it's a huge green flag if they have sisters.
It's so huge.
Yeah.
It's so huge.
I would also say that a youngest son with the older daughters, like being the youngest, I think that's a really good dynamic because the eldest daughters, like, this sounds really mean, but they kind of like bully the youngest son into like doing things. Either it's like playing dolls or they just like straight up bully
Dress them up.
And like, I think it's really healthy for their development.
Absolutely.
Scientifically, don't ask me if that's true, but I just think it's good for them.
I mean, look how my family did it. Jade disagrees. I'm the oldest daughter and I dated the youngest son, and a big no. Ended up having to be his mum.
Okay, so this was another thing that a lot of you were pissed about. So if we're talking about eldest daughter dating youngest son, so many of you had takes on this, including Simone.
I've never heard of this theory personally, but this being the most successful comes at no shock if the metric of success is simply lowest divorce rate. Oldest daughters are parentified from such a young age and conditioned to put other people before themselves. They get given the responsibility of taking care of their younger siblings and even in some circumstances their parents. So they'll be less likely to leave this type of dynamic and are drawn to relationships where they are the caregiver even to begin with. Then last-born sons want to be mothered their whole life because they've been surrounded by people who fill that role for them. So basically you're getting two types of people who have been conditioned to seek this type of intimate dynamic. It's comfortable, it's familiar, and it's kind of the only way that they've ever been taught how to show up in a relationship. So essentially they're going to be less inclined to leave and just accept it for what it is.
Okay.
I was about to say so much, just eight. That is, I completely agree with that. And I will say, like, the thing that this research really focused on was like divorce rates, right? Like
Yes.
this compatibility was based off of, oh, they have the lowest rates of divorce. But like Simone said, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the most compatible. It just means that maybe the eldest daughter is less likely to leave.
Yeah, it's not a good measurement of success.
Yeah, I also will say, like, classic, it's just so nuanced because my partner is such a leader and we are both leaders and he is the youngest son and there's no way in hell that I'm looking after him as like his mother. So I just think that like it definitely that gender dynamic can definitely happen and I can see how.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be so individual, right? Like,
yeah, because you never know what someone's gone through in their life. Like maybe they had to step up in ways as a child that you never would have known. And so then that whole character trait gets thrown out of the window completely.
yeah.
So yeah.
It's
I was going to be like, tell me how you and Darcy.
We're like, we both give eldest because we're both like
You're very
rulers,
strong, yeah.
leaders, and we take turns. No one's babying anyone except for when I'm being a princess.
Literally you every time you're literally
like,
on your
"Where's my
period.
treat?
You're like, where's my
treat?
treat? Where's my heat pack?
Where's my flowers? So yeah, I don't know. That's what I think. But I really love Simone's theory.
Yeah, me too. I really like that. And yeah, I also love the fact that you mentioned, that the measure of success there is not the best. I think Lauren brings up a good point as well. She said that I think it depends on the kind of older sibling you are. Guys with siblings that are close in age are completely different to siblings with a larger age gap, coming from an older sister by 7 years. So yeah, I think having an age gap, like when somebody is like, oh, my parents got pregnant and then suddenly I have a brother at like 9 years later or something like that. Like I think that changes the whole dynamic.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, whereas if you have a sibling, like my brother, it's like we've got like a year and a half between us.
Yeah,
and a lot
which
of people have siblings really close. Okay, so in this research, we're going to put that into quotations now.
You have to watch us on video to see us do the little quote.
In this research, they said that dating oldest was the least compatible.
Yeah, not good.
So we asked you about this and what your experience had been. Amelia said, I just got out of a long-term relo as both older siblings. Deaths butted heads and we were both too stubborn.
Oh, interesting. Well, we got one from Nat as well, a voice memo talking about dating as an eldest.
I am the oldest sister of a younger brother. Growing up, I was very much the authority figure, and my partner is the oldest boy of his younger brother. And I feel like
It doesn't really matter that we're both the oldest. I can see how it could be a problem because there'd be a bit of a power struggle, but we're both really happy, and I think we both have the same outlook on life, the same values, and I don't think it's going to ever be a problem.
So this is really interesting because we also got a voice memo from Eve talking about this, and they were explaining that same outcome and values was like a massive reason why they, as an eldest daughter dating other eldest women, are doing super well in the relationship.
So in my experience, I'm a lesbian and I'm in a relationship with a woman. We're both firstborn daughters. It's funny seeing that you would say that firstborns with firstborns is a terrible combination because that's the complete opposite with us. I feel as though we both have a leadership streak within us. You don't want to always be the decision maker in your relationship. Either you collectively make decisions, but I think that gets tiring. You want to take turns. Without that, I don't see how a relationship could be successful. And that's why I think two firstborn daughters are a really good combo, because we are able to support each other in ways that maybe people that didn't have that same sort of responsibility or understanding of responsibility would be able to do. Maybe this birth order theory makes more sense or comes together a bit more just due to gender roles and the way people are brought up when it's in heterosexual couples. But I think in terms of lesbian couples, queer couples, yeah, like I said, really doesn't make that much sense.
I would even go as far to say that I think two firstborn daughters is the most compatible.
I think that's like a really great combo that none of these studies would have done at all. Yeah, and I really appreciate like coming from a younger sister, I've never had an older sister. I have an older brother. But I do know from a lot of my friends, you included, and a lot of people who have just been like the eldest daughter always becomes like the caregiver of the youngest. And it's like a classic traditional gender role where it's like you're going to be the mum now. But yeah, like Eve mentioning that and saying that, you know, in their relationship, it's kind of like we really empathize with having that pressure.
Both get it.
Yeah.
You both get it. And then you're able to, because you're women, have that conversation and make sure that it's a healthy dynamic where you're both taking turns being the person who might be taking more of a leadership position or whatever it is, or taking the mental load of that on.
Yeah.
I just think that sounds so healthy.
Babe, wake up. New compatibility just dropped. Two women together. Eldest women. Hell yeah. Look, we got a voice memo from Ravrash as well talking about the cultural factors, which I think is really important to mention.
I think firstborns, especially those who come from a family of 3 or more kids, are inherently selfish. I think they have been prioritized, especially if they come from a tradition where, you know, having a firstborn son is a big deal. They've never learned how to prioritize others above themselves. They find a way to turn everything into something about themselves. And I think they think their needs always come first because that's how they've been treated.
I'm sensing some hurt here.
Well, should you say firstborn sons? Which I agree with.
But I think like bringing up the cultural factor is really interesting and something I personally hadn't considered. But I was like, yeah, there are some, cultures where being the firstborn son is fucking everything, and then they get treated like a king.
100%. And also, like, I've got friends where they are from a different cultural background, and the daughter is the one that has to do all of the like cooking and cleaning in the house, and it's almost like the son can just get away with everything. Like there's different rules that apply to the daughters that don't apply to the son. Like he can go out and do whatever he wants and come home at whatever time and have girlfriends and whatever, but it's like the rules don't apply for the daughter.
I also think, and this is controversial, but I'll die on this hill, but like youngest son in the family also, it's a universal thing, I swear to God, in that they get away with everything.
Oh, probably
and they're enabled, and like we could do a whole episode on like mummies' sons, like, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, pisses me off. Anyway, we won't get into it. But yeah, let's talk about the eldest dating the youngest and vice versa. So again, like that's the compatibility that these like researchers were like, yeah, this is the best because the opposites attract. So like I've mentioned before, I'm the youngest. And the one time I did actually date the youngest sibling. Yeah. So that was like youngest and youngest was actually fucking chaos. Like it was not a good relationship. And so I wonder if that actually played into it, or was it just like other factors?
Interesting.
It was other factors, but yeah.
Ellie says, I'm the last born daughter dating firstborn son who also has a little shit, it worked. Haley says, I'm the eldest daughter and I love dating guys who are the youngest in their family. They're so fun and go with the flow. And Elle saying, my boyfriend is the oldest and I'm the youngest. We often joke this is why we work. I think we enjoy that I can be the cheeky one and he can be the protector. This was a huge thing. A lot of you said that you liked the dynamic as a youngest daughter in like a hetero dynamic where the guy was the protector, which I don't know, it's just not something I've ever been interested in as someone who is a firstborn daughter.
Oh,
I'm like, I want to leave.
The superiority complex over here. Disgusting.
I don't need to be protected.
Well, I think like the protector thing is like, it's kind of cute and like obviously I'm a romantic, like I love that kind of stuff and like, I don't know, I read a lot of books that are like have that element of the relationship, but I never like see any of the people that I've dated. And like I said before, I've mainly dated eldest son. I've never been like they're the protector because my older brother is still to this day such a fucking prankster with me, like constantly pulling tricks on me, like making fun of me, making like me the butt of the joke. So, and that kind of cheeky energy is something that I think he really embodies as well as me.
Yeah,
and
so you're both equally the same vibe.
Exactly. So maybe I've just never dated somebody who's like protective older brother. And they've generally always really jokey and like really fun and can kind of match my energy. But
maybe he's just never had to look after you.
He was away for like 3 years of my life when he was studying at university.
Like
on
maybe
campus.
the age gap isn't big enough, like we were talking about before. Like maybe the older protective brother energy comes in when there's like
a big age gap
and he's like protecting the younger siblings.
Yeah, he was always he's 3 years older than me. He's literally never been protective vibes. He's literally like, get fucked, go die. Like, good luck, bitch. Like, that is his vibe with me like, constantly. You'll be fine. And I kind of want him and my dad, I'm like, if I bring someone home, like, and I'm like, I kind of want the person to be a little bit nervous, but then they never are because they're literally my dad and my bro so chill.
They would never be nervous about
I know. It's so funny. Anyway, that's just a thought I had.
We got this voice memo from Nicole speaking about this dynamic.
So I'm the youngest of two sisters and I'm dating the oldest of two brothers, and this is the best relationship that I've had. Admittedly, in the past I've dated older brothers before and I found it to be a completely negative experience, so I do heavily think it's just based on like personality, maturity levels and experiences within the family home. It's abnormal for the youngest, but I was very much the one that had to take on a lot of responsibility. I did a lot of chores. I felt like there was a lot of pressure on me. In his household, it was probably a little bit more chill, but he did definitely take on that older brother role. And I feel like because we've both come from having that sort of pressure, we just know how to like adapt around each other and understand each other. And it just works really well for us.
Okay, let's talk about middle kids, right? Not the bands. Let's talking about middle children, because a lot of you, as we noticed before in the poll, a lot of you are in the middle of your family. And we got so many interesting voice memos talking about this, like Kira's.
I'm a middle child of 4, and when it comes to dating, I tend to go for the oldest. And bonus points if they're the oldest of a younger sister, so a man with a younger sister. Obviously, a big green flag. My theory is that I like to feel like looked after and have someone who embodies those first child traits, so more like independent and rational thinking, pragmatic type beat, whereas I have to be the chaos in my relationships and my friendships. I notice I don't really surround myself with other middle children or air signs or chaotic people because I want to seek stability in my relationships, which is interesting. And I think that's my experience of being the middle.
I kind of love that because I'm like, at least she knows who she is and what she wants out of the dynamic, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny because she didn't mention any of those character traits that like the researchers in this were like, you know, middle children, great mediators, like really good at conflict resolution.
Because chaos was not something that came with it.
No. So we got this DM from Dan who was like just giving us what he reckons. So he reckons middle know how to negotiate and mediate. Eldest always think that they're the victim. The victim.
And youngest usually get everything handed to them on a platter.
So they have less ability to defend themselves.
I have been hearing from everyone though that they do love an eldest person. There's been a lot of people who are just like, even Kira saying as the middle, she likes the eldest, you know? A lot of people just seeming to love like stability, leadership, someone to protect them, to look after them, to carry the mental load.
Yeah. Well, we got this voice memo from Zali, who's also a middle kid, and she kind of found herself drawn to other middle kids as well. But she does think that there's definitely more to it than just birth order.
I'm a middle child, and I have a younger sibling who's 2 years younger and an older sibling who's a half sibling, and she's 9 years older. So there's like a 10-year difference. And the same thing was with my two partners, who are both girls, who are both middle childs. They both have a younger sibling 2 years younger, and they both have an older half sibling 9 years older, which was really, really weird. The two middle childs definitely have older child energy. They kind of take on a parent role for the younger sibling. I think because there was such a big age gap between them and their older sibling, they act as the older sibling. I find that I do that as well with my younger sibling. They were long-term relationships. They didn't work out. I think it's very much a star sign thing as well. I was with the Virgo first, who's very logical and analytical, and I'm a Cancer who's very emotional and sensitive. Same thing with my second partner, who was a Leo, who's very proud, center of attention type vibe.
I need to know the pie chart overlap of star sign enthusiasts and birth order dating enthusiasts.
Yeah, and then add a couple of other conspiracies in as well.
Hey, they're not conspiracies. Excuse you.
Well,
something that definitely isn't a conspiracy is only children. So many of you came through in the DMs absolutely hating them. It was honestly just a huge meme.
Which is bad, because you know what? When we were thinking about this episode, right, for this topic, I went around the office, our open plan office, and I was like talking to all our friends there, and I was like, where do you sit in your family and who are you dating? Yeah. Tell me everything. And then I found out that two of our really good friends are only children.
I'm always shocked. Because they don't give only child.
Sick to my stomach. Yeah. I was genuinely like, I've got to go home and process this.
I don't know who you are.
I literally, without even realizing, slipped out of my mouth. I was like, but you're so well adjusted. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then they were like, no, none taken. Because they live their whole life, because people are just constantly shitting on their only childrenness. But anyway, so I think that they get a bad rap, and I think that only children propaganda.
You're here to defend the only child.
I'm not falling for that propaganda, because I think I love only children.
I will say, even though I do believe the only children propaganda, I will say that I don't know anyone who is an only child that is selfish and like doesn't know how to compromise.
You don't know an only child who is selfish.
Yeah. So like I don't have any like real life tangible evidence that this is a true thing about only children.
Well, these two only children friends outside these very walls have great relationships.
Yeah. Great people.
They're really good.
If anything, I'd say they're selfless. Yeah,
agreed.
I'll say it. Brad also sent us a DM saying, I'm a firstborn and used to date an only child. They were fiercely independent, really self-reliant, and also loved being doted on and getting lots of one-on-one attention. Not many big fights because she'd just opt out of drama altogether. But at times it felt less collaborative, like we were both just doing our own thing.
Oh. So
they are really independent.
It's giving, like firstborn energy. So again, this is why these theories are a bit silly, because it's like, doesn't really matter. Like anyone can be anything. So we did actually get a voice memo from an only child, Katie, who her partner is one of 4 kids and he's in the middle. She's an only child, as I said, and she's actually a really big believer in birth order theory, and this is what she had to say.
He's very good at resolving conflict. He's very good at communicating, and specifically with women, with like his female friends, with our female friends, with his sister, with his family members, because I think that being the middle child does have that mediator role. And to be completely fair, something I have had to learn being an only child is how to compromise, which when you have lots of siblings, you kind of just have to, from what I've been told.
Oh, so she's only just learnt through her relationship how to compromise. Sounds like it. Well, at least she's honest.
She's learning. Maybe everyone needs to throw only children a bone and be like, I'm going to foster you.
Well,
That's so mean. That's so mean. I didn't mean it like that.
I'm going to teach you.
I was thinking about foster girlfriend boyfriends.
Teach you how to be in a relationship and actually.
Pip, cut that out. Cut that.
Okay, we need to hurry up. All right, let's talk about twins because, God forbid, they were forgotten out of every single bit of research.
And trust and believe, you DM'd us and you're like, I'm a twin. Where do I sit in this?
I will say about twins, though, is they love, when you do meet a twin, they love to claim who's the oldest and who's the youngest. Like, it is such a big personality trait for a twin.
And they're always like, guess.
It's always like, okay, I was 30 seconds first. It's like, okay.
So we actually got a voice memo from Christy talking about this.
Being a twin, I think our dynamic can actually be a whole different situation. It's not so much about the birth order, it's more about our personality and environment and how we responded differently to the same stuff growing up. Because we were raised with the same set of values and it was at the same time. But when we would meet someone new, the first thing that someone would say to us is, who's older? And people would always try and put us into these particular boxes. But I think we fit into the older, middle and younger tendencies in different ways throughout our life. But in my opinion, the values and personalities of a person overrides the order that they were born in a twin situation at least.
Why are we so obsessed with asking twins that question? I find that so weird. I definitely asked it. I'm like, why? That's so fascinating. Like, why do we need them to say like, oh, I was...
It's kind of fun to know, but it's like I never really care about who's older. Sometimes I'm like, you're just the same person.
I'm like, I just don't know if you can like telepathically speak to each other.
Run. He's got a gun. If you know, you know. But I think like kind of what Christy was saying, I'm like, it kind of throws out the whole theory. Like you can be born at the same time, raised in the same way and come out with different outcomes. And therefore the theory is dumb.
Well, it's not dumb. It's just not real.
Well, it's not real. But I still identify as like the youngest vibe. I'm sorry. It's fun.
I think that there is like some merit to family dynamic and based off of like maybe where your position is.
Oh, definitely.
But there's nuance and I don't think it necessarily impacts how you date. I think like Jerry said, there's so many more things that go into compatibility, whether that's like values, attachment types, like, you know what I mean? So, but I will say, I still think this is a really fun and interesting thing that you can like talk about with your partner because like we heard from so many of you, like it's made you reflect on some of your own traits and some of the dynamics that you have with your partner and like talk about that. And that in itself, I think, you know, it's kind of like star signs.
Yeah. And you know what? One of my favorite questions to ask when dating is I love hearing about their family. My first thing is like, do you have siblings? And I didn't even realize that maybe subconsciously I was just trying to figure out where they were at. I was like, oh, do you have older, younger? Yeah. What's it like? What are they, like? You close with them? Is there a big age gap? Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's a bit of fun. It's a good conversation starter for a date, but don't base your whole life off it.
Don't make it your whole personality.
Yeah. Not like you and you fucking Gemini.
Watch me put it in my Instagram bio.
Literally.
Firstborn, Gemini.
Gonad stealing which radio star girlfriend? All right.
Woke. All right.
Woke.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Love you.
See you in the DMs.
Bye.